Hi there. Welcome to another edition of MIRACL Memo, where we bring you the latest news and views on all things authentication. This month, I wanted to discuss data security, the data breaches that have occurred in the first quarter of this year, such as Ferrari, North Star, AT&T or one of their resellers, and the largest of all, Latitude Financial, all point to a heightened focus from the hacker community on large consumer databases. The hacker's objective is simply to capture sufficient personal identifiable information to be able to impersonate their victim online. Whether mortgage holders or Ferrari owners, these identities offer ripe targets for the attackers. So how is this relevant to authentication? Well, all of the large authentication providers, such as Okta, Auth0, Ping, Amazon, Microsoft, they all require a centralized directory of the underlying users against which attempted authentications are matched. This architecture originates from security solutions originally developed for enterprises, which were the first to adopt secure authentication. However, the size of an enterprise database is typically thousands of entries, not millions. Also, the potential third-party liability in an enterprise use case is far lower. If an employee's email and mobile number are compromised, they can simply be replaced without the same level of inconvenience. It is the personal nature of the data in a consumer-facing application database, as well as the size of that database, that make them such attractive targets for hackers. Also, consider the scenario of the Ashley Madison breach, in which just being discovered as merely being an entry in that database was so potentially sensitive for people that hackers actually ransomed their victims. Of course, authentication vendors constantly seek to play down any risk of breach, claiming that their systems are simply impenetrable. However, both Okta and Auth0 have been breached in the last 6 months, as well as plenty of times in the past, so it's clear that the reality is very different. It really is for these reasons that MIRACL was designed from the bottom up not to require any personal identifiable information on the underlying users. Not only does this mitigate the potential security risk, but it substantially reduces the cost and hassle of third-party data audits. As consumer-facing businesses consider how to move to passwordless authentication and rid their customers of the terrible user experience that passwords provide, they need to consider the risks of choosing a third-party authentication provider that is going to hold the personal identifiable information of all of their customers. It is an inescapable truth that the most secure database is no database.